All right, guys, so Pacific Northwest Reviews here. We're gonna go ahead and review this remote. It's the Injora 2.4 gigahertz radio system. It's a 6-channel remote. This one specifically has the gyro in it. You can get one without the gyro. We're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna spin the box around a little bit. All right, so some of the features, it's got a 6-channel, like I said, 3rd channel self-locking button, 4th channel 3-way button, 5 and 6 are a knob button. Rubber oil on the shell for more comfortable hand feel. So pretty much the grip. Supports mix control of 1 and 2 channels. So that's gonna be like if you have a tank or a tracked vehicle where you have 2 motors. Smooth and highly sensitive to control inputs and stables at distance of from 400 meters. Response time is 3 milliseconds. So it's got a couple things. So in the box, looks like we have the remote and receiver. Obviously it doesn't look like it comes with any batteries there. So let's go ahead and open it up. So I do want to put a disclaimer out. I have already opened this box and I have already used the remote. I've already installed it, but I went ahead and put everything back the way that it was when I received it. So that's where we're gonna start here. Let's go ahead. Looks like the instruction manual here. So the instruction manual, I dropped it, didn't realize it, and stepped on it. So it comes in actually, it comes perfectly fine. But here's some of the instructions there. Just explain some stuff with the gyros, some menu settings, how to go into mixed channel, what all the knobs are, what all the buttons are, where to put batteries, all that fun stuff. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory to go ahead and read it. We're gonna go ahead and take this off. We're gonna put this away so we don't get any more ruined. Let's see, all right, let's pull the remote out. There's that. Let's pull the receiver out. Let's go ahead. Oh, okay, there's nothing more in there. Just wanted to make sure. Let's go ahead and whoop, that's gone. All right, so here is the remote. Ooh, there's a zip tie. Here's the remote. Here's the receiver here. You should be able to see that. So we have the receiver here. This one here specifically says gyro inside. I don't know if you guys can see that. Come on, focus. I don't know, I can't get it. But this one does have the gyro. It does say gyro inside right there. So it's got the 6 channels. It's got the antenna here. It has the button. I believe this button, you can kind of see the hole there, is for bind and the gyro control. So we'll go over that here in a little bit too. Let's set that aside and go ahead and look at the remote that we have here. Ooh, that's shiny. All right, so it has a pretty good feel. It does kind of have a little bit of a rubber coating here, which I do like. It feels like cheap plastic, but it feels sturdy. It doesn't really creak around. It doesn't feel like you're gonna break it. It feels solid. It feels lightweight, like it's cheap, but it doesn't have that cheap, creaky plastic feel. It's very solid. When you get your remote, it does not come with batteries. I did install just some Amazon basic batteries. They work great. This unit in here, let's go ahead and take the batteries out. Boop. Back in here, you can kind of see a hole right there. That's where you're gonna plug in your rechargeable battery for this unit. All right, so let's go over the features of the remote here. It is pretty standard as far as a remote. There's no screen on it, which is, I like. The screens get confusing for me, so if you don't like screens, this is perfect for you. So we got obviously your throttle, right? Simple, same thing, right? Any other steering, you got your steering too, you got your throttle, all the same. So let's go ahead with channel 3. It is a on-off button, right? So if you have like a light control box, or you can set, you have something you can set it up on-off, or you have like a servo on-off type deal. Channel 4 here is gonna be on one way, off on the other way, right? So this is perfect for like a servo winch or something. I don't have it set up. I don't have my servo winch set up on this because I like to control the speed, which is perfect for channel 5 here. That's what I have mine set up on, channel 5. So I can do it really slow, or I can go crank it really fast, and I go either way. Perfect right there. So we're gonna talk about channel 6 here. It's exactly the same as channel 5, but there's a but here. If you have the gyro enabled, channel 6 does no longer works as a auxiliary channel. Channel 6 is your gain. It's gonna tell you how much you want your receiver to correct, how much you want the gyro in there to correct and react. That's only if you have the gyro enabled. But if you're like on a crawler, you don't want your gyro enabled. You're gonna want that off. You're gonna want that extra channel there. So that's perfect for that. So let's see, we also have this right here. So we got your standard knobs here. So we have steering, normal and reverse. So if you have a reverse steering, so this right here is gonna adjust your steering trim. So if your car kind of veers off to the side, you're gonna wanna correct it with that one. For endpoints, you don't really have an endpoint adjustment. This is kind of like your endpoint. So if your steering only goes so far, but it's trying to go farther, dial this back. It's only gonna go so far. The downside to doing it like this is it's both ways. So that's kind of the downfall to that, but you kind of get the two there and you'll be good to go. So next we'll go over here to the throttle side. So you got normal and reverse, same thing. So if your motor's facing one way and it's going the wrong way, or there you go. Or if you put, so I know like some vehicles, like with portal axles, everything will be reversed. So you kind of have to switch it to reverse or normal, depending on how you have your motor wired up. Also change the trim on it. So if it's kind of veering forward, it's kind of moving forward on its own without you giving any input, you're gonna wanna dial it back. If it's moving backwards, same thing, you wanna dial it forward. The other thing that I learned today was that when I went forward, right, and I stopped, because I have the drag brake on my ESC, when I stopped going forward, it stopped on a dime. But when I was going backwards and I let off the throttle, it would roll a little bit. That was because it was trimmed back just a hair. It was trimmed back more than it already is. So I got it just in that sweet spot so that drag brake worked each time. So that's also another little trick you can do. This right here too, this is the percentage of throttle that you want. So if you want to give this to your kid or a friend that's not very, if you're using it on like a fast car, right, you can go ahead and put that down to like 50%. So you're only going to get 50% power to the vehicle, to the motor, I should say, or throttle. So it's not going to go so fast. That way your kids or your inexperienced friend isn't going to break things right off the bat. So with that, I also like this cover too. I like how it almost doesn't look like there's a cover there. I feel like that helps with keeping it not looking so cheap. I don't like those like see-through covers. Like I said, I just feel like it's cheap, or like those stock remotes that nobody wants. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and turn it on here. So you're gonna be greeted with this light right here. That light is just telling you that it is in normal steering mode. If this light is red, that means you are in mixed steering mode, right? This lights up too when it's on, turns off when it's off. The other cool thing is too, I love lanyards, right? I love lanyards when I'm out there crawling, because especially like when you're climbing around the rocks, you want to be able to just let go of your remote and it not fall down a hill. So you can go ahead and put a lanyard right here. Now that we've kind of gone over the remote here, I'll kind of give you my thoughts. I used it today for about 5 hours. Absolutely loved it. I had no issues with it whatsoever, besides when I went underwater, right? So that's pretty common though. That's pretty common. It's not, I'm not gonna say it's this specific remote by any means, because I've had it happen on other ones. But kind of what happens is you get too much water in here and it just kind of stops working. It doesn't go bad, it just kind of stops working or bugging out. It happens. I've had it happen on other brand remotes and receivers. But on top of that, I did notice that nowhere in the instruction manual that I could find, or on the box or description, oops, dropped it, or on the product description page on like Amazon, nowhere does it say that it's waterproof, right? Or water resistant, water nothing. But I have tested this. You might actually notice that it's kind of dirty. I have tested this. It is waterproof. I have put this whole thing into a cup of water and used it, and it's perfectly fine. So just want to point that out. You know, do it at your own discretion. I did email the company to let them know that they should advertise as waterproof if that's their goal, if it is truly waterproof. So as an overall review, I really like this remote. This remote is very budget friendly. You can get it for about 40 bucks on Amazon. It's very nice. Like I said, it feels great. It takes 4 AAA batteries. It is awesome, especially if you got a crawler, but you don't want to spend all that money on that really big, you know, screened controller with 1 million settings. You know, this is very simple, very basic remote. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and install this in here, right? So we'll be back here in a minute when it's installed.
doesn't have to be complicated. Why would you make it so complicated? This doesn't have to be complicated. Why would you make it so complicated?
Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video of me putting everything in. It's very, very simple. All I did was put some hot glue underneath that. You can use like a double-sided sticky. I'm just out right now, but some hot glue works perfectly. Went ahead and installed everything, all of my channels. So my rig here, I'm just kind of explain a little bit. So here's my ESC for the main motor. I have a second ESC for my servo winch, right? So that's a whole different thing. There's plenty of videos online explaining that, but we're going to worry about these two right here, these two and this last one. So these two, so channel 1 is going to be your steering, channel 2 is going to be your ESC, and then this last one right here, I have my lights connected to that. This plug right here goes to my body lights, and then I have wired in my rock lights. And yes, I know my wiring is not the great right now. I need to extend some of these wires here, but for now it works. So we have the antenna right here. This is something that you can just kind of tuck away. Normally I would tuck it away into here, wait for it to come back out, and then send it back in a little bit. And that's it. Just kind of do that right there. It's a crawler. You're not going very far away from it. So let's kind of go over the gyro here. So we're going to take something kind of sharp, or not sharp, but something kind of pointy. And on the other side, the side of the antenna, there's that little notch that I showed you. And right there is where the gyro and bind button. So if you hold this button down, you will go into bind mode. These receivers come binded. These receivers come binded to the remote out of the box, so you don't have to worry about that. But like mine came with the gyro on, I wanted to make sure that it was off because it's a crawler. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it on just to show you. There we go. So I got it to, you got to click it 3 times. I was having a little bit of an issue with the way that I have it mounted here. I don't really have a clear sight to the button. But you're going to click it 3 times. It's going to change colors here. I don't know if you can tell, but it changed more of like a yellow color. So that means your gyro's on. So if we notice, there's no steering, right? Remote's sitting right over here. But watch this. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to get my hands out of the way. Well, when I move it, right, it's going to counteract. So if you're going down the road with a fast car and it's starting to go crazy, right? Except I noticed that it's going the wrong way. When you move, when your car starts to move right, it's gonna want to, let's turn the gain up a little bit. There we go, now it's more noticeable. When your car moves right, your steering doesn't want to move right? You want it to turn the opposite direction. So what we're gonna go do, I believe, okay, so now you double click it and it should go the right way now. Yep, there we go. That should be, I know it's really hard, I apologize. There we go. See how it's moving? That's how your gyro works. But like I said, it's a crawler. You don't want that. It's just gonna mess you up more than it's gonna help you. But if you have like an Armacentin or a Traxxas Slash or something's fast, that's gonna be perfect for it. It's gonna help you keep you on the, it's gonna help keep you on a straight line. But we're gonna go ahead and turn that off. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3. Now it turned green again. If you notice that it turned green, now we know it's off because it's green. And the cool thing is too, is when your gyro is on, I told you guys that your 6 channel right here doesn't work, right? It adjusts the gyro. But what's cool is you can still hook up lights to it, right? So you can still access the power portion of it, so you can still run your auxiliary lights and all that. All right, so we went ahead and put the body on. Just wanted to show you how the lights portion. So we already had the rock lights you could see down in there. I believe, well, now you can see it. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the camera. You see the light up in there, got one in each corner. So I'm able to rob power from the receiver to power these lights even when the gyro's on, right? Because I told you that that channel doesn't work anymore on the remote because you're using that 6 channel as a way to adjust your gyro gain. So we're able to still use power. So that's absolutely fantastic. I just wanted to turn on so you can see that the lights are on, right? We got our brake lights on. Other than that, guys, this remote is pretty sweet. If you're looking for a budget-friendly remote that has 6 channels. 6 channels is freaking awesome, man. 6 channels is great for a crawler. I mean, really, if you wanted, the best thing that you could do, and this is how I would do it, is you have your steering, you have your throttle, right? For the SCX-10 it's perfect. You have 2-speed transmission and a dig feature, right? That's 4 channels right there. And then you got a front winch, right? Or winch, you got a front winch, and then you can even get fancy and have a rear winch, right? All on this one controller. I mean, that's freaking awesome, man. I absolutely love the versatility of this remote. I would definitely buy one again. Great thing is you can bind more than one receiver to this remote, right? You can't have any models, you can't select like models or anything like that. So you're kind of stuck with whatever your settings are, but the fact that you can buy a receiver for cheap, I think they're around 10 to 15 bucks for a receiver. You can go ahead and bind, you can put them in as many in as many vehicles as you want, right? So you can run one controller for all your crawlers, right? You can set all your crawlers up very similar, you know, but you can have your differences in them, but they can all run off the same one controller. I think that's absolutely amazing, guys. All right, guys, this is going to conclude the review of the Injora T6 6-channel remote with gyro. If you guys want to go ahead and click that like and subscribe and follow button depending on what platform you are on, that greatly helps me and the channel out. That's going to allow me to do more reviews. If you guys have any feedback, questions, comments, anything that you want to put down in the comment of whatever platform you're watching this on. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.